EcoStim Biostimulants. This is video 2 in this series. Last time we had a look at what exactly a biostimulant was. Today we're going to have a brief look at why to use them. It's not going into any sort of depth like we done on the last video series, and most of these will be in the 5 to 10 minute ballpark. So onward and upward. The range consists of 5 products available in 2 different formats, granular and liquid. The granular is diluted with water, and that's what we would recommend for the warmer climates. But for UK and Northern Europe, we would recommend the liquid product. The results are ever so slightly better. As you can see, the products are available in granular form in 2 different package sizes, 12 kilo and 24 kilo, and those rather random amounts are specifically because of dosage quantities. This is a really big question, not just for EcoStim as a company, but overall biostimulants. Why? According to the UN, the global population is likely to be about 9.8 billion. Some are suggesting 9.7, but you know, let's not fight over such a few quantity. 1.3 billion people in Africa. They're 2 huge numbers. You know, and not only do we have to feed that quantity of people, we have to ensure that the medium that we grow, which is vastly more than anything else, soil. So we need to look after that, and we need to make sure that while we're looking after the soil, we can maximize the output from that area without further polluting the planet, if possible. So that's why the EcoStim range of biostimulants can be a key factor in meeting this vastly increasing demand sustainably, which is the key factor. The range will increase yields, increase nutritional content, improve soil structure, and to me, a hugely important factor is the reduced requirement for fertilizers and other inputs. So why? One of the most important whys is the increase in the crop yield and the overall quality. On screen you can see a few things there. The increase in rice in Nigeria at 28%, that was an upland rice, whereas the 30% increase in Sri Lanka was a lowland rice in paddy. The tea increase in Sri Lanka at 31%, the actual figure is 30.8. We were so pleased with that. For the grower, he's an organic grower, and that increase made such a huge difference. And a bonus on top of that was because it was so much healthier, the tips were so much healthier, he got a higher price at market. Tomato, the increase that I seem to talk about most is our Zimbabwe grower. 27% increase in yield, a 33% increase in bricks content, a 4-day increase in shelf life, which equated to a huge difference in post-farm losses between farm gate and distributor. Normally you'd lose between 36 and 42%. Because the post-harvest crop was so much healthier, he lost 28%. He viewed this as a massive boost not only to his revenues, but to the quality of his product, which was received terribly well by his distributor. So not only did he get paid for more product because it arrived healthy, the difference between the 28 and 42, say, but he also had the 27% increase in shelf life, or sorry, the 27% increase in yield, which was worth over $4,500 net per hectare. That alone is a good why, but whenever we add it to the other factors, I think it's fabulous. Reduction in fertilizer and other chemicals is hugely important, and it seems to be the older I get, the more conscious I am about, the expiration of our planet and what's going to be left for our children and our grandchildren and further generations. So one of the things, another part of the why of why use EcoStim biostimulants is reduction in fertilizer and other chemical inputs. So your ferts, your fungicides, your pesticides, everything like that. Because the plant is better able to utilize the fertilizer and other nutrients it has access to, whether that be something in our biostimulants or whether it be naturally in the soil, the plant, with its increased metabolism, with its increased health, it's better able to utilize everything that's there, so we don't have to put as much in. That reduction in total inputs has various benefits. Saving on chemical expenditure across all inputs. So if you can reduce your fertilizer by 40%, can reduce your fungicide by 40%, you can reduce your pesticide by 40%. That's a major saving. You can do this because your plant is healthier. It is better able to withstand biotic or abiotic attack. Now, as well as reducing those quantities, we're not further stripping the natural health from the soil, which we've been doing quite vigorously from farming has ramped up into the vast commercial ways that it's been done for the last 60, 70 years. I'm very pro commercial farming because it's the only way we're going to be able to feed the planet, feed everybody on it. But we have to do it in a sustainable way. I'm moving everything as much as possible towards regenerative farming is a brilliant concept. I would strongly recommend everybody looks at this, but even if you don't want to go down the full regen aspect, utilizing EcoStim biostimulants can give you a great reduction in those chemicals that you need to use. One of the great things about reducing those chemicals is it minimizes the potential for chemical runoff. We've all either heard about or seen, fish kills from coming from farms. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's in the UK where I am, or whether it's on the continent of Africa where most of our clients are, or in the continent of South America where we're starting to get a foothold. These are things that happen, and they happen because it's physics. Something gets into the water that shouldn't be there. The fish and so forth and can't survive on it. They die. But let's talk about chemicals for a bit. Phosphorus. It's key to what we need to use to make plants grow. It's mined, and recent estimates would suggest that there are between 50 and 60 years worth of phosphorus left. After that, it's all gone. The way most governments think is that's a problem for further down the road. I find it quite disturbing. But what we have is the potential to release some of the what we class as legacy phosphorus that's tied up in the soil. Now, it's those bits that have been applied and they haven't either been utilized by the plant or they haven't ran off because they've become hydrogen bonded to the soil. Utilizing any one of our biostimulants, it can release those hydrogen bonds and it releases that legacy phosphate into a condition that the plant can metabolize and use. So in your phosphorus, you can reduce that by up to 50%. Because we're able to utilize some of the phosphorus that's in the soil. So that has the potential to increase how many years we might have phosphorus. On to another why. And again, it's quite an important one. We're thinking about this time about soil quality. Healthy soil generally means healthy plants. If we have healthy soil and healthy plants, we're going to have a healthy us. So, the active ingredients are natural plant source materials that are fully biodegradable. They don't accumulate or persist in the plant or in the soil. Generally, the only way that you'll know you used a biostimulant, an EcoStim biostimulant 4 days later will be your soil's healthier and your plant is healthier. It has fully and completely biodegraded in that time. Soil quality depends on a number of factors such as chemical composition, pH, spread of particle size, porosity, drainage characteristics, permeability to air and other gases, soil temperature, humus, carbon content, and biomass content. A good maintenance regime based on regular biostimulant applications and occasional compost applications can then continue to build soil quality over a number of seasons and maintain significant improvements to crop yields and the quality of the produce. It's all about long-term planning. When we talk about treating a crop with biostimulants, we should remember we're also treating the soil that it is growing in. Some, if not most, of the perceived benefits may be delivered indirectly by symbiotic fungi, bacteria, or other soil organisms. Our biostimulants also stimulate more root branching and root hair production. These root hairs contact a far greater area of soil particle surfaces and harbour large colonies of beneficial soil organisms, significantly increasing the plant's ability to scavenge and take up all available nutrients. In this way, they reduce the environmental impact of phosphate runoff into watercourses and reduce fertilizer costs, while still producing vigorous plants and high crop yields. It's really important to remember that many of the symbiotic organisms in the soil also react to biostimulant applications in the same way that plants do. they often metabolize the bioactive molecules before plants can access them. This boosts the health and the size of the soil organism communities, which then improves the soil structure. And they then share the likes of the arbuscular mycorrhizal fungi. It shares its nutritious exudates with the plants. So we're getting that we're not just treating the plant, we're treating the soil. Moving on to another why, and I've already mentioned this earlier. Increase in shelf life. The increase in shelf life comes from the same as everything else, but with regard to EcoStim biostimulants, comes down to the increase in metabolism and plant health. In all trials on soft fruit, we've seen increases in the shelf life post-harvest ranging from 3 to 6 days, with an average of 4. The greatest aspect of this is the added value for the grower. You know, the post-harvest losses are greatly reduced. Our chap in Zim, you know, the wastage between farm gate and his purchaser, distributor in France, you know, anywhere between 36 and 42%, but the last batch was 28. So that extra 14 or 16% actually getting to market means there's more food available. Now, from a commercial perspective, that's an extra 16% that he's getting paid for by his distributor. That's on top of the 27% increase in yield that he got generated because, you know, his soil is healthier, his plants are healthier, you know, they're budding more, they're flowering more, they're fruiting more. Quite a positive why, I think. Some general questions, and this is pretty much the roundup. There's a general reduction available in fertilizer and other inputs. We would suggest up to 40% from year 2, 20% in year 1. Will it work in my soil? Yes, it will, without a doubt. Definitely. We've tested it on soils in Nigeria, Ghana, Zimbabwe, Costa Rica, Colombia, UK. Actually, in addition to their Tanzania, Kenya, South Africa. It will work in every type of soil. It also works hydroponically. Now, if you want to contact us about purchasing, either use the info@EcoStim email address or sales@EcoStim. If you're a commercial grower, send us something to commercial@EcoStim. If you want anything particularly technical, lab@EcoStim. Or if you just want to ask me some questions, emails to phil@ecostim.org. This one is actually a bit longer than normal. My apologies for that. I'll make sure the next one sticks to our timescales. Happy farming, everyone. We'll chat again soon.